So part two of my encounter with a motorcycle gang in Maine. So I was south of Bangor, somewhere between Bucksport and Searsport. I was all alone on this old motorcycle. I had just avoided this situation that could have turned out real bad. It may have been completely fine, but I had insisted on leaving, and this guy seemed really motivated to get me to spend the night there. And after feeding me supper, and I continued on south from Bangor and past this intersection that really had no other side roads. And I look in my mirror, and there's this big long string of bikes, motorbikes, Harleys. They look tough, and I was scared. Now, at the time, I was not living for God in any way. In fact, just the opposite. I had grown up in a Christian family, and I was interested in power, in the spiritual realm, in the supernatural, in the occult, in witchcraft, in runes and fortune telling, and some really bad stuff. But let me tell you, when I was faced with that type of fear and nowhere to go, there was no roads to pull off of. It was deep ditches on either side and just forest for as far as I could see. Past that intersection where I presume they pulled out from behind me, I was terrified. I was sure that they were going to steal my bike and rob me and bury me in the woods somewhere. So I did what any 17-year-old would do in a crisis. I called out to God. I reached out to the faith of my youth, of my childhood, that my parents had instilled in me, and I prayed. And I didn't close my eyes for long, but I had basically said, help. God, help me in Jesus' name. And I know I closed my eyes because I remember thinking that, wow, that was stupid. Why did I close my eyes while I'm driving a motorbike down the road? And I opened my eyes and look in the mirror, and every one of those bikes was gone. I don't know what to say of it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they were just a figment of my imagination or whatever all the other things that you assume happened if you believe my story. But they were gone. Instantly, the fear was gone. And I believe that God gave me a miracle in a way that I could get no other way. Anyway, I continued up the road a ways, and there was no houses, there was no driveways, there was no ditches, or there was no side roads or pull-offs or anything. Like, it was fairly deep ditches, probably 6 or 8 feet deep, and just trees on either side. And I don't remember what prompted me to turn around and go back, but I turned around further up the road and went back. And this was a fairly straight stretch. Like, I did not see any of those bikes anywhere. So I went back to that intersection where there was that clearing up on the hill where that tree and rock pile was. And I noticed there was this big field across the street on the other side of that intersection where they were setting up tents. And I thought, oh, I'll go ask if I can stay there. So I ended up staying there. It turns out it was just a field that a bunch of like teenagers or youth with some adult supervisors or chaperones were all camping out there. And the next morning happened to be Sunday, and they all went to church just across that little road on that side. So I went in there for the first time being in a church for years, and they're all trying to sing along with these hymns. And I took piano lessons as a kid, and my mom still plays piano in her church. And I ended up going up to the front and offering to try to play along with the piano. And I only used one note at a time, but I was able to follow the melody in the book. And let me tell you, that turned out to be one of those memorable experiences where God pulled through for me in a real experience for me. Thanks for watching.